Hi there. So, I know you're just kind of like sitting here by yourself and whatnot, and I know we don't quite know each other, but I was wondering if, as a little party trick, you wanted me to read the elements on your hand. I understand if you're not quite comfortable with that. I'm not necessarily supposed to, but I just find it very relaxing and I just enjoy like doing it. So yeah, would you mind if I try? The elements on your hand, if you wouldn't mind. Okay, good. So the elements on your hand are presented in your hand shape firstly. So the earth shape hand is a hand that's a little bit wider, and it can have short fingers, but the palm itself is quite short. Earth hands tend to be very steady, routine oriented, tactile. They also tend to be very simple and really love the outdoors. Water hands, which is what actually I am, tend to have very long fingers and a long palm. I usually call my hands switch hands because of how long my fingers are, and also because they're very bony. See? Anyways, water hands are typically people who rest a lot, I guess, on intuition, emotional depth, and creativity. These are good qualities to have if they're properly secured. When you put them on a basis or a foundation that isn't the most solid, everything will fall apart. That's why earth and water tend to complement each other. As for fire hands I believe are typically short palms as well, and short fingers, if I'm not mistaken. Typically fire hands also have a lot of like lines on their palms, so they have short palms, short fingers, and there's a lot of lines on them. And then air hands, I believe, tend to have short palms and long fingers. So with an air hand, they tend to be more intellectual, analytical. They tend to be more communication based and research based. Meanwhile, with fire, they tend to be very, how should I say, they're abundant in energy. They're very diverse in their, or dynamic in their interests, and they're very creative as well, and they have a very strong social nature. So let me analyze your hand real quick. I can tell from your fingers that you are someone who has long fingers. So you're either going to be an air hand or a water hand, like myself. Your palm is also a little bit on the short side, so you're an air hand, meaning that you're an intellectual, analytical person. I'm going to now just look at the elements inside of your hand just to better see what exactly might be found there. What was that? Well, you should never glean too much out of these hand readings or palm readings. Typically only snake oil salesmen tend to invest a lot of like importance to them. It's really not supposed to be a guide. It's just kind of like taking a personality test. It's just a bunch of gobbledygook. So I can tell from the lines on your hands that your mind is very much strengthened with a protective bubble of like a math-based wall. Do you happen to be good at math? path do you feel confident in? Addie. Okay. No, yeah, I could totally see that from the thumb area. On your thumb, it totally tells me that this like mathematical bubble that you find yourself in, within that bubble actually is contained a lot of passion for philosophy, the love of wisdom. So do you feel like you question the why and how a lot of the things around you? No, you just take them as they are. Oh God, I love that. I really do. Okay. I could totally tell that from your pinky actually. So right here from your pinky finger, I could tell that you're someone who, within the bubble of mathematical reasoning and logic, that little like container, and within that container of mathematical reasoning, we have that love of wisdom that is just the wisdom of being practical and simple. Then within this object, we can then open it up. And then within the opening of that object, we then reveal a love of communication. So perhaps language. Do you happen to be adept at learning new languages or really gleaning into rhetoric? What's rhetoric? Okay. Do you know a second language? Okay. No. That's something that I can see in your middle finger, actually. Okay, so like in here, in your middle finger here that I can see, like right here, right? So we have the bubble of mathematical reasoning. Then we have the love of philosophy. We open up that love of philosophy, we reveal communication. And then within the eye of that communication, as it stares back at you, we can then cut off the pupil, open the pupil, examine the pupil, put it underneath a microscope. And then as we're examining that, we see a love of science, actually. So I could tell that within your heart's heart, you're someone that really values like empirical research and just figuring things out on a very like materialist way. Like, if I can't see it, then what is it to me? Is that how you would define yourself? You don't care for science? Like none of it? Like not a single thing? Does space perchance interest you? Okay, what about the ocean? I see. Okay. Nothing. I could see that from your ring finger. So here on your ring finger, I noticed that within that pupil that we've sliced out, put underneath a microscope, and now we're like examining it, I can totally see a hesitancy to commit. There's some commitment issues there. Oh no. So do you feel like you're someone who might struggle to really like commit to yourself, commit to like someone else? You've been in a very committed relationship for the past 7 years. I could see that in your index finger. Okay, so like in your index finger, you strike the final point, right? Index finger, you're pointing. You strike the final point, which is that overall the composition of your psyche is defined by the ability to do. Have you done anything lately? You've just been relaxing. Okay. I could totally see that from your hands, actually. You can put your hands back, just right there. Just take your hands back. It was lovely talking to you. I'm so glad you let me read your palms. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye now.